Well, girls, I can't wait any longer. I am very excited to have our first guest. I'm in love with her book, and I want every single listener to fall in love with this book. Carol Chatellier has written a book called It Is What It Is, Beating Breast Cancer Using Chemo, Radiation, and Email of all things. I love it. So, without further ado, we're going to find out more about Carol as we chat. Welcome, Carol. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hi, Carol.
I'm so excited to finally talk to you. Yeah, it's been great. We've been waiting a long time, for months, to have you on, and this is great to have you as our guest.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Well, first of all, like I said, I'm in love with your book. I just love the format. Who would have ever thought of putting a book together for such an important cause about emails?
Well, I'll tell you, the emails really kind of helped me along in my during my journey through breast cancer. I would send out a kind of a synopsis of what happened in my day, and everybody would reply, and I'd come home and I'd read them all, and it was just very inspirational to me, like to hear everybody, say, "Oh, you can do this," and "Come on," and it was just great. It really worked for me, and I think people are very inquisitive by nature, but they don't really know how much they can ask. And I kind of set everything out. Like, I named every email that went out after my treatments and such. And I just gave everybody the opportunity to ask me questions and to be open and honest about it. And it's full of random thoughts that I had. Some are honest, some are funny, and some are not so funny.
Well, I just love the whole thing. I'm sitting here with your book highlighted, dog-eared, yellow tab sticking out, and a page full of notes. I loved, first of all, how calm you were. Like when you said that morning. Well, first of all, you went for a swim the night before.
Yeah.
And a glass of wine, and then you were so calm. Yep, and I have to tell you right now, let's say 2 hellos, Carol, together. 1 to Jessica, correct?
Yes, Jessica. I hope you're listening tonight.
Jessica works with Carol, and at ChitChat Cafe Live, we want to say hi, Jessica, and to Brenda. Oh, what a beautiful role she played in your book.
Brenda she's done a lot for me to help me out with getting the book out there and always coming up with ideas and updating my website, and she's my PR person. She's been my best friend since grammar school, and, she continues to do so, and she's also a breast cancer survivor.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we posted on Brenda's wall, too, today on Facebook, and we just think it's fabulous. Well, with your book, I especially was drawn to the many times that you put what to say to someone who has cancer. And one of my favorite ones was just remember to talk about yourself, too. People with cancer want to still hear about your lives. Could you share a couple of other of your tips with people?
Well, actually, it's good to let a cancer patient laugh. People think that because you have cancer, you're just supposed to clam up into a shell. And I had gone to back-to-school night. It was right after my surgery. I had that lovely drain in my side, and I had a big T-shirt on, and I was laughing about something. And someone came up to me and they said, "Do you understand the severity of what's going on with you?" And I just kind of, I wanted to look at her and laugh and say, "Really? Is it that bad?" But I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I just said, "Yeah, I do." And I walked away from her. But it's just, people don't know what to say. That's the problem. They don't know what to say, so they just say the first thing that comes into their mind. And, you just have to kind of keep that in your mind as a cancer patient, that they're not trying to hurt your feelings. But it is some of them were kind of funny.
And I especially loved it when you said, "Let's right away get the elephant out of the room. Come on, talk to me."
But yeah, just say it. I have it. You've heard it through the grapevine that I've been diagnosed. Don't talk to me about my kid's picture in the paper. Just ask me how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, whatever. And I've actually had one of my instructions too was don't do the whole meals for families, because there's a lot of times you're running around. Luckily for me, it was during marching band and field hockey season, so we were very busy doing chemotherapy and driving and going to doctor's appointments, but still being there for my kids. So there were going to be meals that weren't eaten. The best things we got were gift certificates to restaurants, local restaurants. I could stop at Panera and get a cup of coffee for myself or a cup of tea if I felt like it. And that's what worked out best for me, for us anyway.
I loved it. And I also loved your prayer chain and your Bunko Babes. Tell us about that.
My Bunko Babes are great. There's 12 of us. Bunko's a dice game. I don't know if everybody knows what Bunko is.
I play it. I love it.
Do you? Well, of the 12 of us, we all have kids that graduated high school in 2009. Most of it's our youngest one. Some of it's the oldest one. So we've known each other since kindergarten. And they were just fantastic. They just stepped up to the plate, and they kind of humored me. Like the first night I went that I was bald, I felt awkward. It was the first night I was showing up somewhere with a bandana on, and I was sitting in my car talking and to a friend on the phone saying how awkward I felt. And I looked under the streetlight, and some of them were walking down. I'm thinking, why do they look so different? They were all wearing bandanas that night, so that I wouldn't feel different.
I love that.
Yeah, and they were laughing at me. They were like, how are you doing this? Like, I can't hear anything because it was over their ears, or mine's better than yours. And, so it was a lot of fun. They did a lot for me. They offered rides for my kids and, edible flower arrangements. And my friends from high school had all gotten together and got me a cleaning lady. Which now I understand there's a website called Cleaning for a Reason. And if you send a doctor's prescription to them that you are undergoing chemotherapy, a local cleaning service will come clean your house for you. But this was their idea. A bunch of girls got together, and they had a bunch of people contribute. And every time the cleaning lady would say to me, well, this is your last time, there'd be more money in her account for the next week. So they just kept contributing, and then they got to the end, and the Bunko Babes picked it up for me. So I went from my first day of chemotherapy to my last day of radiation having my house cleaned every other week.
Oh, that's great.
It was fantastic. I mean, I can't thank everybody enough. It was amazing.
Well, I just love it. Your humor, your book is filled with humor. I smiled and I was laughing out loud. I just loved everything about your book.
Well, we had, there were a lot of things that we joked about. We had the whole Giant Stadium episode, which I won't go into on the air. But, there were some things that could have been embarrassing for my kids that it just wasn't, because we just kind of treated it so la-di-da. My daughter had friends over for New Year's Eve, and I thought that all the kids were here that were going to be here, and the doorbell rang, and it was some kids I didn't know from another town, and I didn't have my bandana on. So they came in, and they were going around the table introducing themselves, and it was like, hi, I'm Samantha, hi, I'm Amy, hi, I'm this one, hi, I'm that one. I just went, hi, I'm bald. I mean, I didn't know what else to say, and everybody kind of laughed, and it was an icebreaker.
Well, in the book, there's a picture of you, and I tell you, Carol, you are absolutely a gorgeous woman.
Thank you.
I love it. In the picture, Lisa, by the end, it shows Carol bald, and she's just one of the prettiest ladies I've ever seen. Your smile is just radiant.
My daughter Amy took those pictures of me that night. I figured, what the heck? That's the way I looked. Actually, a funny story about me being bald. It was Christmas Day, and I always had really thick hair, and I could never wear the big Santa hats. So I thought, I can wear one this year. So I went out and bought myself a nice burgundy velvet one I was going to wear. I got a nice burgundy skirt to wear, a velvet skirt. Well, it was about 70 degrees that Christmas Day. So I said, I'm not going to do it. So my parents arrived, and I wanted to, warn them that I was going to be bald. They hadn't seen me like that. And my dad opened the door, and I said to him, I'm going like this today, pointing to my head. And he says, all right, let me tell your mother. So he turns and he says, she's got nothing on. And my mom says, what do you mean she's got nothing on? She knew we were coming.
Oh, my.
My mother thought I had lost control of my senses and was standing naked in my kitchen, But, it's just you had to kind of roll with it. And life went on.
I think it's your positive attitude that really pulled you through. And I think it really does make a big deal when you have a positive attitude. Don't you agree?
Oh, I agree. I had a great support system between my friends and my family and work and everything else. There was nothing but positive for me. And I think that really helped me a lot. Even my oncologist said to me, she wrote a foreword for the book. And she had told me how great she thought I was doing. She felt my attitude had a lot to do with it. And I've also talked to a lot of people in town that'll call me that have been diagnosed since me. And she says she laughs when she hears that they know me. She said, "Oh boy," she said, another charmer here, because I went in the first couple of times, like not laughing, believe me, but joking around with her because it broke the ice for me because that's just the way I am.
Well, Carol, this is Betty Ann, and I wanted to ask you, your book is filled with humor and wonderful sayings. 10 things you thought of during chemo.
Yes.
Mary Engelbright said, snap out of it. What else can you say about that?
Oh, I'll tell you, someone gave me that snap out of it magnet, and I had it in the cup holder of my car. And anytime I started to get a little bit like, oh my God, I'm going to have a pity party for myself, I would look at that, and actually that looked like me with the red hair and the bob at that point. And that became my, in fact, I have it sitting right here on my desk. It's all sun-faded and everything else, but I don't have the heart to throw it out. But that was just it. You just had to snap out of it. And I've given those to a bunch of people. I bought those and gave them to a bunch of people who have since been diagnosed. Unfortunately, I bought 10 of them, and they've all been given out. So
I have one. I love it.
Yeah, I know. It's the best thing. It was the best thing for me. It worked for me. But the 10 things I thought of at chemo, that was probably one of my favorite that I wrote. It just, your mind, I used to go to chemo. I didn't have an iPod. I had a Discman. And my friend Amy would make CDs for me of songs that she thought I would like for the week or for the treatment. And I would put that in, and I'd just start to think of what I was going to write when I got home. And it just kept my mind going, too. So I would come home, and I'd have to come in on the computer and write the email right away just to get it out. It was kind of a release for me, which is kind of what the book was, too. That was a release, a way to get everything out of my system. So, and plus I felt, and Dr. Early, my oncologist, felt that I could help someone with my book. So, and I apparently have, because I get emails all the time from people, and people will call me and say, I read your book, can you please send it to this one, or can you send one to that one, and can you write something in it? And, I'm no saint, believe me, but I just really felt that I could help somebody with it. So I'm really pretty proud of it. After my 2 daughters, I think I'm proudest of that.
Carol, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
The Discman, isn't that big chunky thing?
Oh my God, yeah, I just threw it out the other day.
Now that's more embarrassing than having a bald head, no?
and the big headphones.
Right, now that's embarrassing, okay?
I know.
I just want to put my 2 cents in.
I had it. I was cleaning up my closet the other day. I said, what the heck is that? I was like, oh my God, that's going in the trash. So it was like the size of a dinner plate,
Yeah, right. That's embarrassing.
Well, Carol, this has been wonderful talking to you. Would you please join us again? I have 10 more things I want to talk to you about.
Oh, sure. I'd love to.
Oh, this has been great. And everyone, we have Carol's links on our Facebook, on our ChitChat Cafe Live website. I'd like everyone to buy this book. It is filled with humor and love and girlfriends and just a whole bunch of wonderful sayings that Carol and positive attitude. I'm so excited for you. And Carol, would you please share with all of our listeners right now, how are you feeling now?
I feel fine. Every checkup has been good so far. I don't know where breast cancer came from in my family. I hope it stops with me. And I hope I just continue to, live a very full life. Like I said, the last line of the book, it says, why be afraid to go out on a limb? Isn't that where the best fruit is? And I wrote, I plan on eating a lot of fruit for many years to come. So I hope everything continues for me.
Well, we do too. God bless you, Carol.
Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you. Join us again. We really want to have you back again and talk about all your sayings and positive attitude things.
Oh, I'd love it. That would be great.
Well, that's great, Carol. Thank you.
And you're going to stay with us for Wes and Corky, aren't you?
Yes, I will.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Stay tuned, everyone. Carol's going to join us when we talk to Wes. And right now, we're going to take a commercial break. But before we do, I'd like to remind everyone Please enjoy our archived shows on ChitChat Cafe Live website. They're free. Find a show that interests you. Click on the show date. Enjoy it while you're on Facebook or emailing or just relaxing. We'd like to thank our sponsor, St. Croix Orthopedics. And stay tuned when we come back. Wes Hayden